Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Saad Sangat Ji, welcome back to the next episode within the Charitropakhyan series. Today we're going to go through the 24th Charitr in Charitropakhyan. This Charitr starts off with Soratha stanza. Dino bohor pathai bandasal pitaput ko Lino bohur balai por hot apno nikat. So just like the previous Charitras, we've heard this overlaying story of Raja Chartir Singh. Once the previous katha or the discourse of the story is done by the mantris, the advisors the king has, he sends his son, Raja Hanumant Singh, back into the jail cell. And then as por means sunrise, when sunrise comes about, he calls him back to hear the next Charitr, or to make a decision for his future. Jo pei puna mantri ek katha uchari. Then the mantris, the advisors, they said a new katha, a new story. Suno ho rai ek baat hamari. The mantri said, "Oh my Raja, oh my king, listen to the story of mine. Ek charitr triya tumhe sunau. I'm going to tell you the tale of a woman. Ta te tumko adik rajaun, which will make you very happy to hear." Yeah. Ek charitr. So then they say, Uttar Desh Nripat ek paro. There was a king within Uttar Desh. Uttar Desh means north. Uttar means north. So in the north region of India, presumably, there was a king there who was very paro, in the sense meaning here, who had a very significant presence. Suraj Bans Mahe Ujaro. He was from the Suraj Bans, the Sun dynasty. Chandramati Taki Patarani. He had a Patarani, means out of all the wives that a king has, the first wife that he has a child with. That's called a Patarani. So out of all the wives, his main Patarani, or the first child bearing mother, her name was Chandramati. Okay, Mano Chir Sindh Mathiani, and here they kind of just give it a alankar that it's like, the oceans were ripped open and she came out of the ocean. It refers back to a mythological story where the Devte and the Dant, they got together and they did something called a Samundra, where they churned the milk, or the ocean, and from that churning of the ocean, 14 different types of padarats came out. From there was poison, from there was amrita, from there was a doctor, from there was a horse. So this is a mythological story, and so basically using that as a backbone to make this analogy that she was so beautiful, she came out of the ocean when it was churned. It's just a reference to that myth to prove the point that she was a very valuable person to this king. Okay, and for more on that story of the Devte and the Dance, the angels and demons getting those padaras out, you can Google it. You could say churning the milk ocean, it will come up. Ek Sutatanko Pavleo. From that king and his wife Chandramati, and they had a child, Janak Dar God Ravdeo, Joban Jeev Adikatehe Badi, Mano Chandrasar Mathakadi. So again, they had a child, and here what's going on here is something called Shingar Ras. Yeah. So poetry, especially Indian poetry, works in 9 ras, or 9 flavors of poetry. So you have something like has ras, which means a flavor of making the reader laugh. And there's rudra ras, which is a flavor that gives the reader this state of rudra. Rudra means a very intoxicated state of not anger, but the same feeling of anger, but with less hosh. So you have all the josh, but you don't have the hosh. Then there's other types of ras as well. One of those 9 being Shingar Ras. Shingar Ras means to put beauty into your characters, right? So here Guruji is kind of going through the beauty of first the wife of the king, and now their child, which is a baby girl, saying that she's also very beautiful. When she grew up, she had her youth, she was very beautiful. Tareo Sumer Kaur Tehinama. And what did they name her? They named her Sumer Kaur. So they named her Sumer Kaur. Ja sam orna jag mein Bama. Bama means lady. There was no other lady like her in the world. Right? Sundar tehu pavan mohe pahi. Janak kala chandra ki vahi. Again, more Shingar Rasa. She was so beautiful. And then Waki Prabha Jat nahi kahi. You cannot describe how beautiful she was. So in that way, Guruji goes into Shingar Ras. Now we're going to continue with the story here in the Chopei Chand. Chopei Dachan Des Nripata Vehe Bari. She got married to the south. So in the south there was a king there. In the Dachan meaning Dakhan means south. So in the south region she married a king. Or she was married to a king. Pant ko pogan pari. She lived her life with him, Doe pot kanya ek pai. So she had 2 sons and a daughter with him. Janak ras roop ki vahi. They were the form of ras. They were the form. Their family was just so elegant and beautiful. Ketak dina raja woho mareo. So she spent many years with him, but eventually the raja passed away. The king that she got married to, this Sumer Kaur, the king that she got married to eventually passed away. Tehe sir shatar putar bed tariyo ko agya taki te tara. Okay, so what happens is that her son gets a seat of authority, but because her son is still young, she's basically in charge of the kingdom, right? Jo paave chit mein usso kare. So whatever she wants, she can have. Whatever she wants to do, she can do. She's basically the queen now, right? Because her husband has passed away, right? So as pant bahokal biharneo, in this way much time has passed away. Chadiyo basant saban ji janneo tante piya bin rehyo na para bireh ban pe hira jara. So many time starts passing by, but Sumer Kaur, within her heart, she's very sad, right? She can have anything she wants. She's the queen. But she's very sad. Why? Because she doesn't have her husband anymore. Right? Without her husband, she feels like she feels very alone. She doesn't feel like she wants to. She doesn't see any enjoyment in life anymore. Right? Her heart's been struck by this arrow of detachment, of separation. दोहरा बिरह बान गाड़े लगे कैसक बंदा तीर मुख फीकी बातें करे पेट पिया की पीर. Mara says that she's been struck by this separation. Who can give her support now in this state, right? Her mukh fiki, whenever she talks, it's like fikka. She doesn't really enjoy the conversation she engages with. She doesn't really want to talk to anyone. Why? Because her stomach is filled with the pain of separation from her husband. Sar ananga ke tanagade kade the suwala food. The arrow of being separate from her husband is so deep in her body. Who can take it out? Lo kalaj gulkan sab gayi to tark de toot. She doesn't care about the world anymore. She doesn't care about her family anymore. She's in a state of depression almost. Ek parak sundar ho to taako liyo balai. One day in this state, right, she comes across a handsome male. And she becomes friends with him. She becomes friends with him. She gets close to him. Man pog taso kiyo hirday har khubjai. And he started to fill that void that was left behind, right? Left behind her husband passing away. So her husband passed away. She had a void in her heart, and this man she meets is now filling that void for her. Chopai taso pog kartriya rasi jan hua nar pavan tehe basi. So she would engage in a relationship with him. Nit nisa kehta hai bulawa. And what she would do at night time, right? Because again, she's seen to be a queen. She has kids. She has 3 kids, right? 2 sons, 1 daughter. Her husband's passed away. She can't openly engage in a relationship with another male, right? But she meets this guy, she likes him, so she's calling him over at night time, right? So then no one really knows what's going on. Manapavad ke po kamava at night time, she meets with him, then they both enjoy each other's company. Avat tahe log sab rokya chor pachan Paharu toka. So the guards, Paharu means guards. The guards would stop this individual from coming inside, because they're like, hey, who are you? What are you doing here? And this is the Raj Mahal. This is where the queen lives. You can't just enter. You just can't come inside like that. You need to have some type of identification, right? So they think of him as a robber, so they try to stop him. Yeah. But what happens next is that jab cheri tin bachan sunawa, Sumer Kaur, she sends her dasi or her servant that you can go to the guards, let them know that they can let him in. Tab grihe jar so patha pawa, and that way her boyfriend gets what is allowed inside the palace. Yeah, pog jar so triya atkara pant ko pogan para. So in this way they engage in a relationship. The relationship grows. They make love, and they're able to enjoy each other's company at night time. Ade kaam ko triya upjava lapta kar po kamava, and the calm lust inside her heart just increases day by day for this male. So continuing here, Chopei Dohra Jab cheri pehran ke uttar det banaye tab woh pavat patho meet milat aaye. So basically every night this happens. He comes to the palace, he's stalked by the guards. Then the queen Sumer Kaur sends her dasi, her servant, to go to the guards to let them know that he is allowed to come in. But this has to happen every night. Ran pe triya mitra bulayo the triya ko pe star so ayo. So one day when her boyfriend came, he was fed up with the idea of going through the guards every time. So ehe beta so bachan uchare, he said to her, why don't you make some type of is there a way maybe that I can come in without going through the guards every time? Hum so pog adik tum kare. And so in that way I can make love with you without feeling like I'm some kind of criminal for coming inside your house, your mahal, your palace, right? So nar kayo sun mitra hamare. In that moment, Sumer Kaur, she said, oh my friend, let me tell you a technique. She thinks of something, right? She comes up with a scheme, she comes up with a plan, and she then tells her boyfriend, Koho baat so karo pyare, I'm going to tell you this technique of how this can happen, right? Mantar mor kanan tarat lijo, take my words into your ears, avar kesu tan pedna dijo, so that no one else knows what we're scheming of. Yeah? Ek divas tum ban mein jaiye ho. One day go into the jungles. Ek bavari pitar naiye ho, and over there there's going to be a boli. Boli is basically a walking in sarovar, right? So if you've seen a sarovar before, a sarovar is like a pool of water. Like if you look at Amritsar Sahib or Ramdas Sarovar, or any sarovar you'll see is like a pool of water, right? And you can basically get ishnan in there. But a boli is like a walking in khu, or well, right? So there's sarovars, there's khus. Khus is like a well. You throw something down into the well in like a bucket, and the bucket comes up with water, right? And there's a walk-in khu that's called boli, right? So if, for example, very popular ones, Guru Amar Das, she's Boli Sahib, and there we know there's 84 steps, and each step go to 6 go, and they read Japji Sahib, the part, and they go down and take a shnan, they come back up and do Japji Sahib again, right? So that's called a boli. It's a walking in khu, basically a walk-in well. Yeah. So she says there's a jungle, go inside the jungle, there's going to be a boli there, and go take a shower there. Yeah. Mohe mile jatapat yo kariye ho, e bach pak mon hoye rahe ho. And whenever someone meets you, just so you take a shower and just close your eyes and sit there. Whenever someone comes to you and asks, says, hey, what are you doing here? Just open your eyes and say, I just met Krishna Bhagwan. Yeah, I just met Krishna, and then close your eyes and don't say anything else again. Yeah. So pretend like you're some saintly being who just met God, and and then just go back into samadhi, quote unquote samadhi, into a deep meditation. तुम जो लोग देख है आई यो करियो हो तिन बचन सुनाई. And slowly when people come see you and they hear of this, right, the word will spread. आन गाँव ते बचन कहेगे सुन बतिया हम चक्रित रहेंगे. And the word will spread and it'll eventually reach the city. And when I hear this word that you know there's like some kind of saint, he's met God and he's sitting in deep meditation, I will act like I'm shocked and amazed and I really want to see you. Chad chapan so taha hum aaya hai. And that moment I'll come, I'll get on top of my dolly. So like kings or queens, queens especially, they used to travel in something called a dolly, where people will hold like a small little box. They will sit inside and four people will hold them on their shoulders, and that's how they will be transported from place to place. Guru Pak tab sees chuka hai, and I will call you my guru and I'll bow down to you. Lag ta to ko apne kar jaya hai, and I'm going to take you to my house in that way. Yeah, pant ko po kama hai, and this way we will be able to enjoy each other's love. Tamna jar tas hi kiyo, and no one will ever know, right? And that way we'll be able to make love with each other. You'll be able to formally come into the palace without any rok-tok. And so her boyfriend said, well, that's a great idea. So he did what she recommended. Yeah, javan pant abala kiya diyo keh diyo jidda hi unne kiya si. However, his girlfriend Sumer Kaur has said to him, he did it just like that, right? Teo Prataban Mahe Sidario. The next day he goes into the jungle. Ek Babri Mahe Bihario. He sees the boli. He goes inside, takes a shower. Dohira Majan Kar Bapi Bikha Bathyo Tyan Lagai. He takes a shower, he sits in Tyan. And then whenever someone comes to him, Kaheo an mohe da gaye darsan siri jadurai. Whenever someone comes to him, like, hey, what are you doing here? You know, he opens his eyes, he says, God, Krishna Pakhyan has come and met me. And then he closes his eyes, right? Just like they rehearsed, or just like they came up with a scheme. Chopai yo sun log sakal heeptae. Chera sakar kucharu liae. So hearing this, you know, the words are spreading from the jungle to the immediate village. And people are like, whoa, there's saintly person there. He met Krishna ji. So people start coming in to the jungle, right, to meet this person, right, this individual who's basically a Pakhandi 101, right? And they're coming to the jungle. What they're bringing? They're bringing like prashad. They're bringing prashade. They're bringing like sweets. They're bringing milk, doodh, paat, aage la tarihi. They're putting all these things around him, you know, pant so pa in parihi, and they're falling at his feet. Dars deo tum ko jadurai guru pak da geo badai. Tate sam ustab sab tate sab ustat ham karihi. They say to him, we're, you know, doing your ustad, we're praising you because you met God, you met Krishna ji, right? And they made you the guru. You know, so word spreads, like it's like the game of telephone, right? You say one thing and it just after 10 people gets amplified, right? So the word spread and people are like, he's the guru, and you know, he's made the guru from Krishna ji. So everyone's coming in, bringing him food, bringing him different desserts and all these different things, clothing, and bowing down to him. Mahakal ki bandhana parehi. They're saying we're doing this so that we don't get stuck into the cycle of death and birth, right? If we worship you, we'll be saved, right? So for that reason, we're doing this. Mahakal ki bante sabko leho charai tab prasad bichre he swarg parehe narak neh ajai. And people are doing ardasa to him that take us away from death, you know, save us from death and take us to heaven. These type of things. Yeah. Chopai chali katha pur pitar ai tin rani sravan sun pai. And so just like they had planned, just like they had schemed up, eventually the news reached the palace, reached the city, it reached the palace, it reached the ears of the Rani, Sumer Kaur, and she came to meet this guru, right? Basically, who is her boyfriend. Dohra chali chali aayi taha jahan hote nijmeet. She came there where her friend is in the jungle. Pak guru payan pari adikaman sukhajit. She came, she bowed down to him. Chopai keh bid darsyam tohe dino. And she says to him, how did Bhagwan Krishna ji give you their darshan? Kavan kripa karaha gurkino. What kind of grace did they do on you to make you their guru? Sakal katha voho hame sunavoho. Tell me all of that katha. More chitte ko taap matavoho. Take away my pains, right? So this is the Rani Sumer Kaur who was the person who architected this plan, right? So she's telling him, tell me, how did you get the darshan? How did you get the vision of Krishna ji? दोहरा जो कछ कथा तुम पै पई सो कछ कहो तुम मोहे तोहे जदू पत कैसे मिले कहाँ देओ बर तोहे. How did you, again she it's just being, the dohra here is summarizing before part where she's saying, how did you meet Krishna ji, what graces they do on you, tell me everything in detail. Jo pai. And now this is her boyfriend responding by saying, Majan het eha main aayo. I've came here to take a shower one day. I took a shower and I went into meditation. Ek chit hoya drid jap kiyo. When some time passed away and I was doing my job, I was doing my meditation, my chanting. Tab jadopat darshan mohe diyo. In that moment, Shri Krishna Bhagwan came and gave me darshan. Right? They came in their physical form. Sun abla main kachu na janna. He says, oh lady, I don't know anything. Kahan deo mohe kahan bakhanna. I don't know why they chose to give their darshan to me. Main lakharoop acharjta peo. When I just saw Krishna ji, I went to the state of acharjta, of like wonderness. Yeah. Mo kaho bisar sabak kech gayo. And then I forgot everything. Yeah. Minu kuch hosh nahi rahi. I lost like total focus or consciousness. Dohra. Now he's describing how Krishna ji looked like. Banmala ur main tari. Peet basan fehrai. He had a mala around his neck. He had yellow clothes on. So he's describing how Krishna ji looked like to him. Yeah? And basically he's describing what they've heard of Krishna ji to be looking like. Yeah? And Prabha na barani jai. His nirk depata da man lajje. Prabha na barani jai. He said that like their pratap or their radiance was so much that even electricity or lightning became dry in front of him, yeah, in front of Krishna ji. So jo pai adik jot jadopat ki so hai. This now they're just doing upma Krishna ji by saying his light was so strong that khag mreg jash panjangan moha, that all the different animals, the deers, the snakes, everything, all the beings, they became so enticed by their form of Krishna ji. Laha nanan ko mreg sukchanne kamal jan al firt divanne. The lotus flower went crazy. The eyes of a deer became fikka or became dry in front of Krishna ji. So again, this is again Shringaras, but this is Shringaras for Krishna ji now, yeah. Chand. Now they're describing in more detail what did he have with him. What did Krishna ji come with? He came with a moor. A moor is an animal. It's not coming to me right now, but it's the one with the big feathers, a peacock. Okay, a moor is a peacock. So he came with a peacock. He came with a mukuट. Mukuट means like a crown. He came with what else? A Sudarshan Chakra. So Krishna ji is depicted with a Sudarshan Chakra, like a kind of energy ring around their finger, which is like a weapon. Gada Hath Nadang Asachaja, and he had a sword with him as well. Lakhe Savri Dehe Saganakan Savan Lajja. His body was so beautiful, that Baki Chijan Lajan Disi, that everyone else is dying of Sharam. Yeah. Dohra Chatur Khan Ayudha Chatur Jahom Birajat Hath. He has 4 arms, and in each arm he had a weapon. Do Karan Dino Taran Sab Nathan Ke Nath. And he's there to destroy Pap, destroy sin, take away and to save the poor and the humble, and he's the master of all, right? So you can see what's cool is that within the story, when the story starts focusing on a dharmi or a righteous kind of angle, in this scenario they're focusing on Krishna Bhagwan, right? Guruji goes all out. They don't hold back. They're like, their vocabulary changes, whereas before it was just like story. And then when they go into deep into some kind of shingaras, or they're going to some kind of and they start focusing on, in this case, Krishna Bhagwan. They go all out in their vocabulary. Vocabulary starts changing, as you can notice, it becomes more deeper. It becomes more what we're used to reading in Guru Sahib's Bani, For example, this line right here, Do Karan Dino Taran Sab Nathan Ke Nath, is very, so the flow changes to something that we were more commonly see with Guruji's Bani, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Bani, right? So that kind of shows that when it's about Taram, Guruji gets so pumped, and their poetry kind of shows what they might be feeling. Yeah. Okay, so let's just move on. They just going through how Krishna ji looks like. He comes with all their gopiyan. He comes with all the yellow clothing. And eh pak bhagwan ko ya main kachuna ped. Eh ucharat shastra sab eh bakhanat ped. So now Sumer Kaur, she's responding by saying, like this description you gave of Krishna Bhagwan, it seems very accurate, because it's what the Shastras, the Simritis, all these Indian texts have to say about Krishna ji, and it doesn't seem to be any difference in what you're saying, what the ancient texts have said about how Krishna ji looks like. Even the Pandits, the scholars, have said the same thing as well. What you're saying, everyone says that Krishna ji looks like this, and you're describing him. Therefore, I fully believe that Krishna ji did give you darshan. Yeah, they came and gave you their form. In that way, all the dasiyan that she came with, all the servants that Sumer Kaur came with, they all fell at the feet of this individual. And everyone holds their hands together, and they're doing different ardasa. And now Sumer Kaur, she does 8 ardas. She says, Nath hamare tam padar ho, O Nath, O Swami, O Master, come to my house. Tam means house. Shri Jatopat ko naam uchar ho, come to my house and say the name of Bhagwan Krishna ji. Dohra tam chalo hamare Prabhu, kar hai kirpa apar, come to my house and do grace upon me. Hum thadi seva kara ek charan nirtar, I'll do your seva, I'll stand all night long on one leg and do your seva. Rani Sottumare Jia Sukhi Basat of Des, and the yogi, or the Pakhandi here, her boyfriend, he responds by saying, O Rani, O Queen, may you live in peace, may your kids live in peace, may your whole city or your desh, your country live in peace. Hum atit banhi pale tare jo ko peace. I'm fine here in the jungles. I'm a yogi. I'm fine here in the jungles. Yeah, because they're kind of making a scene here. Yeah, to show the whole world. There's so many aspects of the story that's playing out. One is that they're using the name of religion, right? They're using faith, right? They're using faith, and they're hijacking faith, right? To do what? To get their relationship approved by in social means, right? So to get society to approve their relationship, they're hijacking faith and creating this whole play. Yeah, it's a full out play. Yeah, and they're letting people buy it, and people are buying it, right? People are totally buying it. She responds by saying, no, please do mercy upon me, please do grace upon me, come to my house. I'll stay at your feet all the time. Whatever you say, I'll do it right away. I will never say no to your hukam. Dohra, मैं यो सो ghost kara keh I'll day uthai. I'll do ghosty with you at night, like not night time, but I'll do ghosty. Ghosty means a question answer. I'll sit down with you all alone. I'll take everyone away, and we'll do Q&A. Aap aaye ta so rami hirday har ko bajaye. When you come, and when I spend time with you, when I'm able to love you in this way, my heart will be so happy. La tanko kar ko chali man manat kar pog. I'll take, and I guess she's thinking of this in her head by saying, I'm going to take you into my house and we'll make love. Yahe milyo sab har kya hai ped na jane hai log. And when everyone meets you, they'll just think of you as God, but no one will know our secret, right? So she's either communicating this with him secretly, or this is just something in their heads. So in this way, she took her boyfriend to her house. Linos haat 50 ali, and with her she had her servants, about 50 of them. Goes to tam te ave. So under the condition that we're going to be learning from him, we're going to be giving him questions, he's going to be answering our spiritual questions. Under this condition, ghost hate, right, ghosti vaste, she's brought him over to her house, sanktya karpo kamava, and now they're able to make love with each other without any shanka, without being fearful what society will say, because now it's all approved in a way, right? Her spending time with him is approved outside, and inside closed doors no one knows what's going on anyways, right? Dohra tavan jar so yo raha nij nari jiyo hoye. And this way they kind of, from then on, they spent time together like as if they were husband and wife, right? So she would always stay by his side, but people would think she's staying by his side because he's a yogi, he's a guru, he's there to teach her. So in people's eyes, there is nothing of anything mischievous going on, right? But they knew that they're going to spend time with each other as lovers, right? Lo guru keh pag para pedna pave koi, right? People would meet this person and think he's a guru, so they'll address him as a guru and they'll fall at his feet. Yeah, and so in this way the story ends, and the last two lines, the mantris or Guru Sahib narrates the moral behind the story by saying, Chanchalan ke Charitr ko sakatana ko pai. No one can understand the Charitr of a Chanchalal. Chanchalan means like Chanchala, a clever person, right? A mischievous person, right? Someone who is clever, someone who wants to fulfill their kaam, they'll fulfill it no matter what. They'll spend all their time, their effort, their energy, creating up schemes, creating up different plans, hijacking dharam, hijacking faith. They won't stop at anything, to get what they want. There's no limit for them, right? The sky is the limit for them as long as they get what they want, right? So, but no one can understand, no one can figure out the Charitr that kind of clever person will play. Yeah, and they give an analogy here by saying Chandr, the moon, Sur, the sun, Sur meaning the devte, the angelic beings, Asur meaning the hellish beings, the evil beings, or the demonical beings. Sab, all these, even Brahma, Vishnu, Surarai, and the king of the heavens, Indra, even all these angelic beings and all these powerful beings, to the sun, to the moon, no one can understand or figure out the Charitr of a Chanchalan, a clever being, a mischievous being, someone who is intoxicated by their kaam. Yeah, they will come to such they'll go to such extents to get what they want. Yeah. So Satsanga, this is the end of the 24th Charitr and the end of the 24th episode within the series, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Ji Bol Jukanti Khima Bakshini Ji. It was a very long one. I tried my best to condense it down as much as I could, so for your interest, Ji. So please forgive me if I made any mistakes in that, and I'll see you in the next episode. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.